What's up guys, Ryan from the MXG channel, back today to show you a pretty cool e-bike. All you moto guys, you know that bicycles and e-bikes are going hand in hand with our motorcycles, more so now than ever. The great option for pit bikes at the track, great option for training tools to keep in shape for moto, and this one is pretty cool. I can't wait to tell you about it. So the Aostirmotor S18 is a 1500 watt rear hub drive e-bike. It's got 4-inch fat tires, full suspension, a twist throttle that I know you moto guys love, 7 different speed Shimano components, a really nice LCD screen. I'm going to show you some of that stuff a little closer, and we're going to check the top speed and the pedal assist speeds on this thing and see where it kind of lands. Alright guys, let's start with the motor here. Now from what I gathered, there have been a couple different iterations of this S18 model that have come with different motors, different displays. I believe they used to offer a 750 watt version of this bike, but now it's a 1500 watt, and that is great with me because 1500 watt is just a little bit more exciting, especially for us guys that are used to riding dirt bikes a lot. So starting with the motor, 1500 watt, 720 watt hour, powered by a 48 volt battery. It's 11.5 amp hour, and let me show you this battery because it's a different design than anything I've seen before. So you can see it sits right here, and it's got this different triangular shape. It's also got a cool little handle, so you have both of these in the open position for the battery to come out, and it will slide out just like that. And there you go. It does seem a good bit smaller than my S18 battery. Now if you have a garage or somewhere you can safely store this close to a charger, you'll never need to remove this. But you know, if you have to park this on the street or something, take this inside to charge it, at least you have the option to easily remove it. Oh, I forgot to show you, it's got a nifty little carrying handle right here, which I haven't seen on any battery previous to this either. This new 1500 watt motor on the S18 is going to give you 85 Newton meters of torque. Alright, let's talk about components on this thing. We're going to have Shimano entry-level stuff. Is it the best? No. Does it get the job done and it's reliable? Yes, absolutely. 7-speed cassette on the back, really all you need for any of the terrain that this bike is meant for. And what is this bike meant for? Well, this is built to be a sturdy commuter that can handle a payload and some off-road capability that the suspension gives it. The shock is nothing fancy. It's really just a spring. The forks are Zoom by Forgo. They do have preload adjustment. They have lock-in, lock-out. The stuff gets the job done. This triangular frame right here, it's a different design than we've really ever seen before. But whatever they've done with this design, it handles a 300-pound payload capacity easy. So, you know, if you're a bigger person, this thing's going to be great for you. If you want to put a rack on it and haul a little bit of gear, it's going to work for you as well. So I've had a lot of people ask me, what's the point of the fat tires? Guys, the fat tires are going to be for if you need to spend much time in the sand or the snow, or you're carrying carrying some cargo with you. It's just going to feel more stable. It's going to keep you from sinking as much, robbing as much power. Now for you sport riders, you'll know that a lot of bicycles at this price point come with very cheap grips that don't inspire confidence. That's not the case with these. These are my favorite grips I've seen on any e-bike yet. They kind of feel like my ODI Rogues on my motocross bike, but yet they're not. These aren't plasticky at all. They have some real grip to them, but they're not mushy either. So Aostirmotor, I'd love to see you use this grip on more models. Love it. It's got cable actuated disc brakes, which work extremely well. I'm 220 pounds. I was scooting down the road at 10, 12, 15 miles an hour. Just squeeze that back brake gently and it locks up. It locked up so much, so quick, that the rear tire skidded a couple inches and made some noise, and the whole park was looking at me. Another thing that made me pumped when I got this thing out of the box was to see it already has the half twist throttle. Half meaning it doesn't have to utilize the whole grip like a motorcycle does, but I like this way better than the thumb throttle that came on some of the earlier models and still does. This is fantastic, especially if you're coming from a motorcycle background. And this big clicker here right in the middle. You got the power button right there to turn it on, and then you can change your pedal assist modes right here. And there's, these buttons are super large. They've got a nice audible click to them. Easy to see. Definitely, this is my favorite, shifter, selector switch, whatever you want to call it, on any of the e-bikes. I'm really digging it. Overall, this entire handlebar setup, from the grips they used to the selector switch to the LCD display to the half twist throttle, I really love it, and this would be my preferred setup on every model I had. I'd also like to mention that the cable management on this S18 is beautifully done. Looks a lot better than I've seen on other e-bikes. It's tightly wrapped. I dig it. The seat is big, wide, has good padding, it's comfy, has real white stitching. They did not skimp out on the seat. It's not plasticky. It feels great. So Aostirmotor did a great job of integrating this rear tail light right into the frame, and it works fantastic. Now, one of the first things you normally have to do when you get a budget e-bike is put a decent front headlamp on it. Not the case. Every Aostirmotor bike that I've ever gotten has had not only a light on the front, but a very good one. I can't show you with it being as bright today as it is, but just trust me, this thing gets the job done. You don't even need a secondary light to complement it. It's a good one. This bike is going to be a great do-it-all machine with the 4-inch fat tires, 1500 watts of power, full suspension all around, and disc brakes. You can do just about anything on this thing, and it's not going to break the wallet. All right, so now that I've told you about this bike, I've given you the specs on it, given you a couple of my thoughts, what I like. What is this bike built for? What's the purpose? Well, it's all about logic and utility, and I think this would be great for anybody that needs to commute, but part of that commute could be dirt, gravel, could be rough with some bumps, maybe a hunter that wants to get back into the woods, doesn't need to climb any crazy straight up and down hills. You're not going to carry out a huge deer on this thing, but you're going to get yourself and your gear in and out of the woods silently, no problem. You can do just about anything you want on this bike. If you've never rode a bike with 4-inch fat tires before, it's gonna feel pretty weird to you at first. The steering is extremely heavy at low speed, at 4, 5, 6 miles an hour. Just coasting, playing with this, you're gonna feel like you have a flat tire. But as soon as you get up to about 10, 12, it's very playful, like a regular bicycle. We're in pedal assist 1, and we're in first gear. Just pedaling, that's gonna roll you at about 10 miles an hour. Move up to pedal assist 2. You're gonna be at about 15. Pedal assist 3, gonna put you right around 19 or 20. Let's do a roll-on test. See how fast we can get going here. Full throttle, 220 pounds, 5'11". 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You can see just in that little stretch I was able to get up to 27 miles an hour. All right, now that I've told you about the S18, the specs, some of the things I like, now it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. I know you guys have been thinking this since you clicked on this video or saw this thumbnail from the very beginning. What is this design? Well, this is called snakeskin grain, and it basically is a snakeskin camo, and it's different. You can't knock Aostir for trying something different. I think if you're a hunter, an outdoors person, you're gonna either like this or it's not gonna bother you. There's gonna be a lot of people that don't dig this scheme. I'll be honest, when I first saw this scheme, I was kind of like, ugh. And now that I've had it, it's kind of grown on me a little bit. But if I could give some feedback to Aostir, I would say, offer this bike in a more neutral color scheme as well. Also, the kickstand on the S18, not sure about it. On my S17, it's located back here, closer to the rear axle, but on this S18, it's right there underneath the crank, which is fine, except for it hits the pedal. So before you start moving and you're rolling the bike, you might have to roll the pedal as well to move the pedal so that the kickstand can go back into place. As far as being nitpicky or anything else I would like to see improved on, these floppy mud guards, water guards, you know, I'm glad they give them to us. Sometimes I don't put them on because I think the bike looks way better without them, but whenever I do that, I end up having to ride in the rain or wet ground and I get soaked and I regret it. So I put them on, but I'd love to see a better way to secure them and make them closer to a true tire hugger because they are pretty floppy and annoying. Now, if I had to nitpick just a little bit more, I would love to see Aostirmotor find another spot to put that key. When I'm pedaling, my knee comes dangerously close to that key. Now, the key does fold, and that saved me a couple times from breaking it off, but I've actually broke off that key in a $5,000 competition mountain bike before that didn't have that fold feature, so we appreciate that. Whew, I have got to ride this bike all day here at Jacobson Park in Lexington, Kentucky. Let me tell you guys, it's a blast to ride. A couple things you need to know. You're not going to get crazy range out of this bike because it does have the 1500 watt hub motor, which is very strong in hub motor e-bike world, and it's got a mid-sized battery at 11.5 amp hours. But I would let you know that everybody thinks they need all this incredible range, and usually you don't need near as much range as you think you do. I'm guessing probably you know, 10 to 15 miles full throttle, probably in you know, just buzzing around at full throttle. If you use pedal assist and baby it a little more, I'd say you could probably get up to 30, 35 out of this thing. Nothing absolutely crazy. Now, I wasn't able to find a big enough straight stretch here to do a top speed run, so I'll do a separate video on that and link it down in the description whenever I'm able to do that in the near future. But if I had to guess, with me at 220 pounds, 5'11", I think this thing would probably top out around 30 miles an hour, maybe 32 miles an hour, something like that. I'm not sure if this has a different controller on it than my S17 with a 1500 watt motor, which will do just a little bit more. But either way, guys, that at bicycle speeds, that is plenty fast enough. My preferred cruising speed is around 20 on a bike like this. So yeah, it's a blast to ride, and for the price, coming in at $15.99. You're not going to regret buying this. Even if you buy this bike and then decide you want to upgrade to something different, or you decide that the fat tires are not for you, this is one of those bikes you're going to keep around for the significant other or the friend to be able to hop on and go. I mean, you're never going to regret dropping $1,500 for this thing, because it's probably going to do everything you need to do. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and it would mean a lot to me if you would, if you're going to pick up one of these, if you would use my link and pick this up from Aostirmotor down in the description below. I'd really appreciate it. Ryan with the MXG channel. I'll see you all in the next video.